Bang bang badang ding dang diggy diggy digging bang badang ding ding oh bang badang ding dang diggy diggy digging bang badang ding ding yes black to black 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 look there's no need to worry and no need to fret if you think we was finished, we ain't done yet. This is the platform where you can get informative topic with real intellect. Play talk good manners, raise the antennas. Andre and Karen that's host the vibe. Facebook, Spotify and Instagram. You could also catch me on the YouTube live with positive content back to back. I'm inviting all people to black to black. Yes, Nubi and Power is black to black. And everybody invited. So share it and like it. For we all are united and black to black. Yes, Nubi and Power is black to black. And everybody invited. So share it and like it. For we all are united and black to black. Yes. This is your mortal immortal, inviting each and everyone to log on to all streaming platforms to Black with your host Andre and Karen. So subscribe, share, like and comment and come along. Let me enjoy the vibes. Diggy diggy, black to black, diggy diggy diggy, black to black, daga daga, black to black, black to black.
Greetings, black to black.
Black to black, we are black.
We are black and fully beautiful. Nice. Yeah, boy. Where's the word? All you good?
Yeah, ready, Reggie Miguel.
Yeah, man.
The chef.
Welcome, black chef.
Yeah, chef.
Welcome, black. Big ribs in the building. They probably never eat the man food.
Come and say good night here.
The man food is live. The man food is live. Just get back and say good night. You don't want to?
Alright.
Okay,
She playing shy tonight.
yeah, shy.
So yeah, we
Listen,
here.
my kit, African royalty. Yeah.
Oh no.
It'll be an experience. Watch them in the back here. Ladies or the girl in melanin popping. Red, white, black, wherever.
While we preparing for Emancipation 2025, and for all who know the Nubian experience, and what has always come out with 4 or 5 new prints designs leading up to Emancipation. So look out for that. I don't drop one this week, the mask.
Yeah, well, the black mask.
That is. Who also know that that's some things that's fascinating. My African mask that's fascinating. When I mean fascinating, I can't even explain it without someone, I can't exaggerate it. Right? There are a few aspects of African culture that's fascinating. The mask, drums, and the Dogon markings. See the Mali people, the Dogon people from Mali, them tribal markings. Something what I just reaching and touching with the spirit part of my body. Same thing with the drums. Long before I was involved in African culture, from the time I hear drums, a whole different thing does wake up. I never learned to play drums. She learned to play the drums right now. But from ever since, I remember one of my first experience in the Emancipation Village. I sat a drum. I in a conversation and can't talk. I just in trouble. Next time that happened to me, I leave my boot. I remember now the first year that I sell in the Emancipation Village. Shout out to the ASC. There's one thing we can't complain about, we just get certain things in that village. The first year I hear Wassa Foley was 2012. Watch me now. You ever hearing something, most of the time Bacchanal are hearing, I be saying Bacchanal, no good now, but I have to go closer and see it as well. But I hear the first time I hear Wassa Foley play, that I hear the village was under the grandstand. Right?
Yeah, in the back.
Right, so under I hear them play. Boy, I leave my station because me alone, Monopoly and them in there. Them playing too. But I leave my station, leave all my goods, leave all Monopoly and them goods. And going up in front to see Who is this getting on dirty son? The nice thing about Wassa Foley, them is a group where you can just take in the drum and actually see what they do.
Right.
Because there's dance too. There's do things with the drums too. Right? So
it's like an interactive
yeah, you had to see them. Right? So new stuff coming. I'm really excited for the batch of dashikis that are doing this year.
Right.
Simply because part of it is from being swagging it so often now, and some of the customers you have, they might not necessarily want the colorful things that is going on, but they still want that dashiki. So over the years I have done it, but now I'm doing it more, which is doing them plain color dashikis with just one of my little prints on it. I remember again, I wanted that dashiki, but he wanted it so quick. I collected the day he had to collect it. So I ain't get to put my logo and I print on it now.
Right.
What? The man come by me and wait outside. Say, no, you can't give me that dashiki without something on it, like Africa or a mass or hand or something. But I'm really excited for that to give the people who my customers who want something a little different. I'm excited to give them that option. Right. And I have one or two other things that come in new for this emancipation.
Right. So
we look forward to it. Tonight we're going into something that, is basically this whole week we, in some way, form or fashion, we have been discussing here. Right? Community.
Yeah.
Right? And the breakdown of our community. And this is black to black.
Yes.
Where you have African hosts, Africans born in Trinidad and Tobago. So don't expect it to be about everybody else. I tell people, we're trying to exclude everybody.
Yeah.
But we also learn that the lie that is inclusion make we forget ourselves. So they make we feel that when you're working on yourself, that means racial and your thing and thing. And when we do so now, because what is always telling, we greatest strength is also we greatest weakness. When they tell we you can only focus on black alone.
Yeah.
And we hear that, because it's, people make we somewhat good at guilt trip when we pull up on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We decide, everything, bam, when you catch yourself, the same man who 10 years ago was doing something in the community that was benefiting the young black children, they get him, now what he doing? Benefiting people living in a certain place. Because I tell people, before that Western Trinidad, they go to lighter.
Yeah.
I don't like sun to shine down there.
No.
Right?
It's really cold out here.
Really cold, right? Yeah. Now he doing something that benefiting them.
Yeah.
Wait only have one or two of us.
Yeah.
I ain't for you can't bullshit me that again. I ain't for them for that again.
Yeah.
No, but it have plenty, well, how do you say lies? But it have plenty ways that we was misled into thinking, moving or thinking and certain ways wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And one of my pet peeves is when people sell me money to buy happiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When people tell me money can't buy happiness.
What? Look at that. Let she go outside. Let's talk that outside.
That is.
Yeah. What?
Right? Utter bullshit.
Utter.
Understand?
Utter.
A capital U.
Boy.
Utter.
That don't make no sense. Right? It's a one that I like to hear people say it, but other races understand what it is to. Right? Let me ask you something. Since it's small, we're here, what violence is there?
Violence?
Yeah.
More violence.
Yeah. Violence beget violence, right?
That is more bullshit.
Yeah, right, I got it.
Yeah? Violence is get results. Right? All these other races and them.
Yeah.
Don't settle not violence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You understand? They understand this. Right? If you put your hand here and I slap your hand and tell you put it back, you will put it back.
No.
You understand? So I don't understand. You see that in the other cheek thing?
What?
That in the other cheek thing.
Reds, Karen, let's tell me bring it back. Yes, I'm going to do about 3 of them jerseys over the years, right? I had a jersey mark and we are out of chicks to tell them.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that nonsense at all.
I real brutishness boy.
Again, so we ain't going away from the topic. that is what they did. So that is why this week when I sent the Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they just do, they will take piece of this podcast, cut out a point where you say only support black people, and post that up and say the racial is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when Malcolm X gave one of his most famous speech, the house Negro versus the field Negro.
Yeah.
All that is plain in his speech when you find it on the internet in most instances is his saying that and his description of the house Negro and his description of the field Negro.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah.
But the brother went into a whole explanation of it outside of that.
Yeah.
And then he brought it back to the time he was in, which was the 1960s. I'm telling you, it's 2025. And part of the reason why our communities break down so much so is because we are real house Negroes.
Yeah.
Seeing the problems.
Yeah. Know the problems.
But don't want to attend to it because it's not affecting them.
Yeah.
Not just it's not affecting them at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to say that because everything that trickle down there.
Of course, at
right?
some point
in time it will reach it. Right? But in a way, we really and truly try to fight inclusion more. Right? Than because you know they say the nail that sticks out is their hammer.
Yeah, Japanese.
Right? Yeah. So if they realize, if they can tell us, well, don't do this, and like he said, the house Negro part, right? You come on the porch and sit down. You understand? You know what John was doing yesterday as you sit down, right?
Yeah.
But if you realize it makes more sense now to go and stand up with John and say, hey, very plow a piece of land there and do what you gotta do and move from it. Correct. Right? But John now see you on the porch, they say no. You get to rest a little bit, I go rest too. No, you understand where I'm coming from?
I want to dive into something Miguel now touch on. Right? Which is, and it is glaring and blaring today that one of the reasons why we community suffering is because some people who are in positions to help or who have the intelligence to formulate, because not that we could go and deal with everybody else. Somehow we had to remain behind the scenes and giving the ideas, and then with other people who could deal with and converse a certain way, go to, right? But we have some people, boy, buying to the, I want to live so. I work in here, because you know why we still want to do? Malcolm X said this thing in 1964.
That's not new on the son.
Exactly.
It have not new on the son.
And you still today, when you could be in a position, when you are in a position to help your community, you leave and you're born to say, I live in here, I work in here, I is the only African
man in this area.
In this thing. Like I say, like there's some kind of people I say, yo, we just say we smarter than the animals. You see a monkey. Living with all the other monkeys is the 30 other monkeys is. So go by the crocodile and them.
To say I live in over there.
But so now we in a situation today, 2025, we're in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have communities where people from other parts of the country don't even want to pass on the outskirts.
Yeah, boy. Because all you know the kind of fields I in. And so where does live? But I live in Move
One time, so I see what he wants to say.
I tell a man already, I live in Move The man watch me, you alright? Seriously, the man ask me, alright? I'm like, yeah, who will not work in here? What's the problem? You know? I from Move The man asked me if I alright. Serious thing.
Roxanne Hubert and Woods, all a blessed night. Yeah.
Good night. With
the advent all the crime in the communities. Now we have to acknowledge that that is one of the reasons why some people just move out there.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we ain't trying to make it sound like,
No.
you know?
It's not all rainbows and kittens.
We know that, but you just look at the boy sometimes when I go, I mean, to that point, all we went success.
Yeah.
Right? When I done success, I repeat it over. So I tell them only I make some checks and move and laugh until I ready. Behind woman. Let me tell you one of the things that stand out to me from them time.
Camera casting.
Right?
Evidence.
Some of the houses I see in these places.
Yeah.
You know? From the working people. I'd be like, could you imagine if some of the brain drain that we experience in Mova, until Belmont, Sealot, Speedtown
Didn't happen.
Why?
Yeah.
Now we're saying that while also saying we understand some people were genuinely scared and some people were genuinely fed up. But some people just leave without even, right?
Yeah.
I just ask, and this is a question I pose out here to all you and to anybody listening, what we could do to bring back that kind of, I mean, we's not no old men, we give thanks for the age that we reach, but we's not no old men, you born and grow in Laventille, like born in Sawa, Bataya, you born in Belmont, right? All that we have stories, the three of us here have stories about moving through our communities without faith.
Yeah.
Not because we bad or nothing, but because that was not issue. Right?
Yeah.
What we could do to bring back that kind of vibes?
Well, it is so nice to say we gotta start with the youth.
Yeah.
But I really and truly believe we gotta start in the home with the parents.
Yeah,
of course.
I really believe that. I mean, father and mother and a child don't mean he's a parent.
Of course not.
Boy, we talked that last week.
Yeah, I'll come in the show later. Yeah, but really and truly, if it is you listen to somebody's parents, you really want to know, hey, and you have to understand too, like we just always say, we parents was doing the best that they could have done with the information what they had.
Yep.
But now, I just say you don't have no excuse. You have no excuse now. The circumstances is only what you allow it to
be. Facts.
You understand?
Facts, bro. Facts.
You could make whatever you want. No, I'm not saying that you can build a Hubble telescope out of 2 liter bottle and Scotch tape. Now, you can take a try. But, no, you can try. Right?
You will try.
I will try.
You know you about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But, if your son and your daughter and my daughter, right, sit down, you smoking weed, you drinking, and I cussing up my wife.
Yeah.
What they say?
Yeah.
Three of them say down
there.
Yeah. Right? So, that is what they're saying. Right? Now, I just always see in my from my part, I learned from my father what not to do. You understand?
Same.
Right? I learned from my father what not to do.
I feel 90% of the fellas who grew up in the era,
I think that will be there.
That will be there.
Because I must say that, I must have too.
Right. So, in that aspect, and watching, I fell up here, you see on the program, majority of what you know about man and woman thing you see on a ball court.
Yeah.
And 95% it was absolute bullshit.
Right? Men just trying to show off. Yeah, you know?
And then you turn man in here, that's half of them was lying.
Right, yeah.
And exaggerating.
Yes. And real exaggerating.
Yes.
Right? Because if it is you taking into account all that you hear, all that you see, what you know and what you believe, right? Sit down and take your time and read out the bullshit and say, hey, this is what I want from my children.
Yes.
This is what I want from my community.
Yeah.
Right? And it's starting
with me. Oh gosh. Well,
I just want to interject, right?
Yeah.
It's not always you able to do that for yourself. And this is where the community comes in.
Yeah.
Because
no, but you're still you saying that, sorry, but you saying that you had to make the decision to change.
Yeah.
I'm saying no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it had to have a catalyst and sometimes
Yeah.
what we had long time, right? Me and you just always talk that you don't even see where you come outside 5:30 in the evening and you see 3-4 youth men sit down, just congregating, just talking. You see that?
Yeah.
We don't put enough value on that.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't say that, but I see that plenty by me.
I will.
I see that plenty by me.
You see that wrong, you know?
Yeah.
That is an important thing now because when all this started sit down, remember most of the time we'll go share values or exchange ideas and thoughts now.
Yeah.
Then we might be 17 years old, sit down and talk here. You leave and you go and buy your next set of partner, them lower down in the community.
To carry the same conversation. Yeah.
One of them leave, come back around so.
Yeah. That's how it starts.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
That's how it starts.
And this is why I...
And that one trade I think can just...
Yes.
Start to spread, yeah.
I understand that.
But this is what I'm saying now, the community. That is why we're suffering in these areas that are called so-called high risk.
Yeah.
Because people then outside to do that again. I remember having a conversation with one of our schoolmates, and she said, Andre, it's not that I don't want my children them go. She said, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You feel I have 3 boys, I cannot be inside.
Yeah.
And them outside playing and I go and sleep or something, I cannot do that.
Yeah. But the more work you do around children, they will realize that the community, as he said just now, the community starts at home. You know?
Of course, it
Right? Because
start nowhere.
remember, just how we three raising we children in a particular way and sending them out into the school, right? Remember them affecting people around them the same way, you know?
And the negative or
And the others the same way, happening the other way, you understand? But them know, but if I go with that, I will get assault. Yeah. So, but I leave that in the school.
I repeating Miss Ann words. None of them here to get cut with you.
Come on, they don't live here.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you're ready, sit down and think about it. The more work we do at home, it's better for the community because remember the children going out into school. And that is why this particular system we have running now, education-wise, is a problem. Right? Because, let me be real, I am living in Barataria. My children are supposed to go Barataria and Lincoln, George's, UE. Right? If they go down to tertiary, wherever school have in Barataria, right? I say George's because that's my aspiration, right? I win roof. Me even for no middle, no way.
No.
Right? So I'm saying
some business here.
Right. So it's community. Right? Church in the community. Right? Because somebody asking me how I know somebody why, and I tell them I say, well now there's love until I from you know. I went Trinity Junior.
Right.
Because Rosie principal say, why don't carry a child at school in Lamington?
Right.
My mother say, okay.
And
When Trinity, she paid for me to go Trinity.
Imagine that, eh?
And that's that.
School principal telling her parent something like that.
Correct. A school that is opposite the hub. How you gonna say that? Right? Anyway, then I went Success.
Right.
But I grew up in Success RC. I do a baptized day, I do first communion day, I do confirmation day, I get married day. No, I didn't get married day. Because the date was not available. Right? But I live my whole life in Lamington. Everything tied today. So some of my confirmation friends go in Success. Some of my first communion friends, they're older than me because I was a baby. Some of them go in Success, they're in bigger class than me. Right? Lyndon was in 96. John. Right. Right? He was 96. Then from there now, come on. All are we? After confirmation, we go down on the promenade, we eat Marios, we lie, whatever. But all are we do one another?
Yes, you see that again, we just use the word community and we just sound real big. But
it's not big, it's small.
You're doing something in your community.
We is a community.
Of course. Only do something together, then only leave and go and do something else together.
A word I would like people to to summarize with community is camaraderie.
Yeah.
Right? We don't use that word plenty in Trinidad.
No.
Right? But another thing I would say, like, you know, I used to play game and things like kids and things like that.
Right.
Some of them fellas is my partner for life.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And
because
just,
it's created that
camaraderie there, because we always against one another, arguing right through from time to time. Come around, yeah, but
that is also our next problem of today. But it's like, it have no, again, it all goes back to what we're talking about, the breakdown of community. So when you're in your community and you and somebody have a disagreement, is that the disagreement is right now. And when we leave here and come back, as I say, we come back tomorrow.
Then you be all
the next day for the most. Right? No, it's not that enough. And his whole community had to suffer for that. Our whole community suffering because two men have a disagreement. And nobody else in the community could tell them, well, let's stop that now. And them don't even have it within themselves to say there's only between the two of them.
Well,
so
long time you know that ain't happening.
Of course it can't happen.
Because Miss Frank or Miss Anne,
we not call.
She know Batman since he pampers.
And they want respect for that.
Correct. So when she see the road, yeah, son, what really going on with you, man? Where's this war thing I hear you and me getting war? Where's that? Well, let's stop that ship in the sun. And you know that going home on your chest, you know, because you said, boy, something back me up for that, you know.
You remember what we see with Shaq?
Of course.
Shaq and Charles Barkley fight on the
the mother called him?
Man said time we reach in the locker room. Get a call.
One time. Yeah, patch
so somebody say something here that we had acknowledged too. They say yes, good parenting starts with it. They say good parenting starts from the grandparents. I personally really believe that because I am a product of growing up with our grandparents. And both all you know what did it mean to me. You understand? Just this week I telling somebody that one of the things I will do my utmost best within Sheldon is to make sure that my daughter have access to all she grandparents.
But we sit down right here and have that conversation already. What you gonna do when your mother is 25 and your grandmother is 34? What you gonna do? You understand? We had that conversation right there.
But listen to this too now. It get even more tricky because let me do some real numbers, right? It's 2025. You could have a grandmother who is 36 years old.
Or less.
Or 40. I want to go a little thing. I want to go out from figures for where I know actual personal thing. Now you could have a grandmother who is 36, 37 years old. Grandmother.
I have a virgin from class as a grandfather.
You understand? No.
44.
The world that we living in, 40 is the new 20.
Facts.
You understand? So imagine you is not even 40 and you have a grandchild.
Well, that's our next.
Or you passing on because you really want to be bogged down with that because you feel like you now don't get bogged down with the one that make the child. And that he or she come and bring in a child. We're really passing.
We're saying it to understand that, but me personally, had a bad misconception about midlife crisis.
Midlife is 30s.
Exactly. Right? So, I always used to say, you know, a midlife is like 50, you know? Thinking they're looking for 100.
It's about the century.
No. In my family, saying that ain't nothing hard because we are some centurions, right?
Right.
But when I do check it and think, that depressed me, boy. When I say so, for the time, because at the time when I really sit down and study it, because you don't take on certain things, right? And you always hear and I say nothing, but when it is a good check it. At the time when it is, I check it. Average age of man is 75.
Right.
Big man is 38. Fucking ass shipping and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I winking at 40, normal. Yeah, and I sit down and study that for about a week just before my birthday now. I was going to 39.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, nothing really too bad happening to me. I ain't really had nothing to really.
Exactly.
You know? And
Exactly.
things are great, but,
Yeah.
you know, and we just, I study, but what the hell already going on with me, boy?
Well,
Boy?
I don't know, I never fear aging. So,
Yeah.
no part of my, you see, like when you say that, no part of my life, I like, oh, I'm so old. My biggest concern is the legacy I'm going to leave for this child.
Yeah.
That's my, watch for now. If anything else does worry me, is how I providing for she as she get older. And if something is to happen to me before I can provide her, because she will go and handle she them kind of thing. But me like going like, you older now because you're realizing more and more. I hate to be 46. I hate to have a back pain when I get up.
Yeah.
You understand? I hate to go and sweat and realize I could have sweat 2 hours now, I could only sweat an hour. And the point is, I hear.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it now.
Yeah.
Right?
But we was talking something like that before with the hair and thing.
Yeah.
When she was harassing me and saying we grandfathers because we agree.
Yeah.
But I was saying I can't see myself ever dyeing my hair.
I must say.
I know.
I cannot do
must
that.
say.
Yeah?
So we might be, it might be hard pressed to find 3 men we age with grey hair to say that again. You might be hard pressed. Because, brother, I know some people.
Yeah, they're fighting that boy.
But I tell you,
They're fighting that boy.
But again, so let me tie back into the topic.
Yeah.
Well, plenty of we. I grew up with a grandfather. What was the name of the guy? The big brand name that the time?
Ricky.
Nah, for your
Ricky?
By Jen. Brother.
I didn't know.
So my grandfather was one of them that bald. I kind of like from here.
Yeah.
Right?
Batman.
And come back, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing this man put that in a little saucer. With a toothbrush.
Right.
Right? So, and he going in with brown and silver here, right?
Yeah.
And the toothbrush and come back out jet
Black.
You understand? But I mean, based on his age and the time that he do it, he had learned how to not late. So you just always see that now. By watching these young fellas, so they be like, yo, all this technology and this improvement.
Yeah.
And you dye in your hair, and I have to know you dye in your hair.
Yeah.
I
Now
know
that shampoo and thing,
Yeah.
that dye there.
right.
And
But
see
again,
fellas doing the paint, like when you go by the barber.
Yeah.
That paint.
so again, but I tie back into the fact that there are plenty of we really grow up around people who show you that is a joy to get older. The community again.
Yeah.
So it's part of our responsibility to tell them, young men and them know, don't rush your age and don't run from your age. Don't rush your age and don't run from your age because
It got people who vex with me for saying this, but that is more so. I mean, if you talk to the fellas and on that, but it have plenty young ladies out there, and they take it on.
Yeah.
I really take it on. It has some young girl out there. It has some young girl out there. You know how you say they can't cook like their mother, but they could drink like their father.
Oh,
God.
Right? It have a few, and they really have to take it
Take
on.
it up, yeah. Take it up.
The life they living and the lifestyle that they want to equate themselves with.
Yeah.
It's really one that is not.
It's a big comment.
It ain't conducive to life.
No.
You could do what you want. I'm not telling you don't live your life or enjoy yourself and things, but you have to know what is for you and what is not for you.
Yeah.
And I don't drink alcohol at all. I will never tell you don't drink.
Yeah.
Right? But if you come to some people is vexed with me for saying I don't drink.
Yeah.
Be vexed with them.
Yeah.
Right? But if it is you come to me now and I'm telling you, well, show me the sense in smoking a cigarette or drinking alcohol. Or buy a bottle of rum or a pack of cigarette. I never buy one of them.
Yeah.
Got the cash
They
rate.
cash in the sense. You understand?
Just well.
Yeah. But no. Just to say, the youths and them who living up by me, like when I talking to them and thing, I go talk to them and say, hey, big man, what you want to be, what you want to do when you get bigger?
Yeah.
So when I asked sure later, told later, right? When we was younger, you used to hear doctor, lawyer, fireman, policeman.
Yeah.
You know, them is the thing you used to hear.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, I asked in your meet, man, and they won't buy me. Right? Well, when I finished school, get my license now up page. I have a link with the gang up the road, so I go there and see people. I have a link with this one, so I go there. No. No, yeah, well, yeah. Nothing wrong with them hustle.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. I have some brethren who is taxi drivers that living.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But I have also have friends who work in CPEP and see in their way. Right?
Yeah.
But if it is, like I say, Casey, some business,
Yeah.
some used to say, aim for the moon. If you miss, you will always be among the stars, right?
Yeah.
So, if it is you aiming for here, when we know, we all of us was young men.
Yeah.
We know we was capable of here.
Of course. Of
Right?
course. Of course.
We used to do rail shipping and be around here, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, when it is you talk to them, you see that glaze in the eye.
Yeah.
They want to tell you something better, but like now, speaking from intelligence,
Yeah.
right, or trying to be intelligent, not cool.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm glad you finish off like that, because I was going to tell you, we wasn't more intelligent than them.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Downside of the technology is that same thing. They like, you imagine that we're like, when I'm in primary school, Kevin is a witness to this.
Yeah.
Because me and Kevin was in the same class in primary school,
Right.
in standard 5. I had hate Kevin. Kevin just skipped from standard 3 to standard 5, right?
Alright.
And beat me in test by 1 point.
Right.
So he come 7th and I come 8th.
Right.
Right? When I went primary school, it was competition.
Yeah.
So
You see the top 10? When I mean competition, it was 29 trainers on this in the class.
You went to mixed school or boys'
A
school?
mixed school, but
Yeah.
same yard, different building.
Oh, okay.
No separation in the yard,
Yeah.
Right.
but different building.
Right.
Right? So I looking out my class and we see the girls and them.
Yeah.
And lunchtime and recess something we mingling and
That basically how Belmont was before the girls' school in Bulldown.
right?
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
I saying to you, you shame in that A. Well, first things first, you have to be in the A class to be cool.
Yeah.
First things first. I telling you, I still have it, so I see this man, and I tell him that we get a good kick so far today. He is one of the coolest people I know in my life.
Yeah.
Simply because all of us in the same class, you know? So you know, they say he older than me, no. It was effortless for he to play football, field hockey for the school, Cub Scouts, and Kung Fu Centers. You hear how much thing he leaving school to do when the time comes?
Yeah.
That it just had
And
some
she said, come, right? In my year in success, in primary school, Savo Boys Government School, the top 5 children in my class, all of them was good at sports.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
That was
Most
school
coaches
thing.
will tell you that.
You quiet. If you watch and you come 20th and thing and test, you quiet them.
Yeah.
You quiet. Now, as you know, say, they want to sound too bright.
Right, yeah.
This is where we community fall off.
Yeah.
Because when I was walking up the road, and my brethren, father see me, we gonna ask them. You come and test.
Yes. Yeah.
And he have a memory to remember what I came and test last time.
You know I do that in the shop? I keep them training on them on the toes. You know? Serious or no? Just today I talking to Roland youth man.
Yeah.
Can you tell me they're flying out to the summer and thing whatever. I say, yeah, you say, yeah, but This one look like he might be waving from the gallery.
Nice.
I say, what you mean?
Younger one?
Yeah. I say, well, he do good in this all. He said, well, he do what I wanted him to do. So I turn and I tell him, I say, brother, I say, if there's one thing I'm sure that your father like me with, is he will be good on the promise, eh? He will make good on that promise. I say, so no way you're doing test coming up, the way I have to do. I say, because the next step is, I cut it off your hair. Okay, all of them like, they hear like, right? I said, the next step is, I cut it off your hair. He turn and he watch me. I say, yeah, your father didn't say I would. Because that's something that we missing in the community too, right? Where plenty times it happen with me and you, and Mary, or Amari or whatever. I go hear you talk to Amari and not say nothing. Because at the end of the day, you're telling the man no shippiness. You understand what I'm saying? And same thing with me and Mary. I wouldn't tell you no shippiness in front of your father. I tell you shippiness period. Right? So now it has some parents they tell your child something and don't talk to my child. Don't tell my child that. And you know what I mean? And I say, no, wait till I tell your child. What I tell them?
I know even going there, brother. First things first, I not going, if I telling your child something, and you have a problem with telling your child, and I thinking that as a responsible adult, I wouldn't want to tell a child something about that. And you thinking that, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
That
I get on that. I get on that. The all and the end all.
The end of that day, right? Again, when we go back to the idea of community and the things we lost, and in order to understand the breakdown of the community, we have to understand the things we lost. And one of the things we lost is that people telling you, that village. And what is the African saying? The child who don't feel the warmth, who don't get the warmth of the village, just burn it down to feel it. We living through that right now in these so-called hotspots. Correct. Most of them, a parent get killed, or a brother, or a sister, a cousin, or uncle, somebody that was close to it. When those young get I be like, yo, what the counseling, right? For the breads we live is 28, 25. They go back to, we didn't go into the 90s, they go, just go back to 2005, right? Till 2005, from 2005 till now, every year in these communities, the people in them that lose mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents, right? It's had any kind of counseling for them?
No.
Wait is one with some of them. Some of them either never recover mentally and just not even good for themselves. And some of them just continue their life because it's so much anger. Right? We lose all of that because
we saw what was the word they used before? It's like we overloaded with it now. So, so we don't take it on and
I tell them I don't ever want to be that way. It must bother me all the
desensitized.
time. I want to be bothered by it all the time. I don't ever want to not be bothered by it at all. Nah.
We so desensitized with that.
I still like to watch the videos and
I don't watch none of them things, man.
You understand?
To the point where now I don't see no news on my socials because I don't click on it. I don't want to see.
I just have to go on these news sites.
Same.
Right? And pray. Like I tell them, we friendly, we partner in the school group, all you're glorifying having 2 and 3 work and talking about some people lazy and things. I say, well, what is the takeaway from that? The takeaway from that is that our system of governance didn't put something in place where one job is sufficient for your country, for the people of your country. And then only watching at a place like America and saying, look, people in 2 and 3 job and things and saying, only glorifying that. But they will never quote Finland. 4 work days, 4 school days. But you'll never quote that.
No.
You understand? But you quote America because you know why? It suits that slave mentality that you have now. Right? Be like, yo, you know what it is doing 2 work, this do? Sometimes 1 job based on the ridiculous traffic we have in this country. Some breads, when my daughter is just born, it at times me really get 1 or 2 days, me really get to interact with she. You need why? Because I leave in home 5:15 in the morning, because I live in Arima and I work in Barataria.
Yeah.
Right? And then I come out there and catch my nene after 4 minutes to 5 in the evening to go back to Arima. So sometimes when I reach inside, it just get dark.
Yeah.
I can't go and hold shit. That is what contribute. That is a big contributor to the fact that we don't know parenting. Because the ones that want to be serious, or they having to work long hours or to work. You understand? I was working with somebody who finishing work 11 in a day.
Yeah.
And 2 o'clock,
On
half 2, then another work till
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
no, they didn't go so long. They wasn't going so long. They was going till about 6, 7. Right? And she's saying to me, Andre, boy, I hear you know, because my daughter quarreling with me. My daughter telling me, the only time I see you when I get up to Peony night and I can't talk to you because you're lying down where you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And I sleepy too.
Yeah.
But we glorifying this shit about people lazy and the only one, if they think go and do another work. None of them insane when they say that. What we could do to improve the things in the country so that when somebody go on the thing and they get a work, there is enough to sustain them. They could pay a rent, mind a child or two or something. So we ain't talking that talking.
Yeah, that's like by design.
Of course it's by design, but they don't want to admit that.
Yeah, like by design.
Because if you admit that, then you want to admit that part of the reason the community breakdown is because of outside influences. Influences that we're looking at to help we, but working against we. And this is be my problem because it's like we saying the same thing over and over. And it's something like your government. The reason why I talk about the government is because they've been in charge of the majority of the money in the country and all the systems in the country. And the only people who don't have no problem with that is the people who money making some of these systems.
And like when you talk about things from history and things, you always bring up old things.
Old thing?
But when it is in World War II, right? When it is the women and them went out there and was building these ships. Right? Because the men and them was off the war. Right? What they had realized was when it is the men and them came back, they was taxing the women. They was taxing the men. So, instead of being you housewives and them being housewives and you only getting one set of tax.
They get more.
Right, then we tax the two of them. Right? But the women out, it make them feel like if
equality.
And equality is way different from equity.
I always say that as some man I see Carla posted this week, I say, boy, you know long I get up from my father, you know long. I listen to my father break down that to a lawyer in Arima when he used to do leather work. And watch me now, I feel tired just listening to my father. Because this man trying all how with his proper English and legal jargons. Saying, well, I say, come a big educated man having a problem with you saying it. Because my father tell him, fuck equality.
Equity.
Because equality doesn't make you try to catch up to something you can never catch up to.
Ever.
Breads, the people and them that own the newspaper company and the radio company who they say is the richest set of people in Trinidad, right? The three are we here. Let me just say the businesses we're doing take off. We still have a cap compared to what they're doing. It's a lie. And I think what I do put the straw on the top of the rat head, with a piece of cheese hanging in front of it on a string, and the rat running behind that cheese. For me, that is one of the best descriptions I can give about the system today. So long as them is your role models and you trying to catch up to them,
you waste time.
But you doing everything to make them richer. Plenty of we saying, no, you didn't even enjoy what we working for.
I had that conversation with a co-worker of mine. The man said, boy, you always doing something, you always thing and you want to go here, you want to go there. Where you say everything? I say, I'm going to ask you something. Tomorrow morning, you know you getting.
Gotta live.
I say, when it is you telling me that don't do this, don't know, me and you same age, right? When you telling me that, and tomorrow my family come and tell me, yeah, we will do that tomorrow. I must tell them no. Why? Because I come to work here tomorrow.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I said, what is that actually? I said, what you actually working for?
Mm.
I said, no. Think about it. Think about what is that. What are you actually working for? It can't be just to pay bills and buy food.
But that's what most of we doing today, and people justifying that shit, boy, Miguel and Karen, boy.
It can't be that, boy.
Yeah.
I can't see that not making sense, boy.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying, plenty are we talking from we sit on privilege. Revel in your privilege. Don't get me wrong. But we can't cast everybody in the same way from we position of privilege. So brother, if you working in a job where every year or every other year you could take a vacation outside of Trinidad, revel in that shit.
Yeah.
I want to see your pictures and things going to that inspiration to me. But don't tell me if people wanted, they could go and get it. And it's so easy. If it was so easy, King, I just want to have it. Because I telling you, while we was going success, I was working on a weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't get on. As I come out of school, I continue working.
While we was going success, I was gambling in the evening, making money to buy shoes and books.
Right? I need success.
And what was doing?
2.5 years after success, I move out.
Yeah.
3 years after success, I move out and go and live on my own. I wasn't ready for that. Days when the community will come in.
Yeah.
When them hear you want to move out, you're not ready for that. So even if your parents didn't realize and not to say somebody are wrong, guess I want to go and move out. What?
Yeah.
And do what?
Yeah.
The last survey, I always remember real good enough to say that the average citizen in this country working for less than $5,000 a month, right?
Central Bank system.
Right.
Serious?
Right?
Yes, already told me that already.
But I don't know. In the places you just go every day, where people just have to work every day, just try and see if you can find out what these are really working for. Like that grocery I told you there, no me no call names. That grocery I told you there, you feel that people who doing the things that have to make the grocery run working for $5,000 a month?
Nah, me
the streets and them in Port of Spain that bustling every day. Thousands of people passing through every day. Some of these companies posting $100 million profit, and then you think most of the employees working for $5,000 a month?
Nah.
The little businesses in we community. You think we have people working for that $5,000 a month? No, check rent. Check rent, no. Yeah. So there's what I'm telling people now. Instead of we say that we try and address that, we telling people go and get another work.
But that's something I read in the papers this week here, right? Where a woman from Penal or Princeton or something suggesting that like she have a business in the mall or whatever, and she find it wrong that people could just be in the mall now. So I was like,
oh, you want to charge a fee?
Yeah, you want to charge a fee to come in the mall? Are you dumb? If you do that, you're turning people away.
No, they don't understand that mathematics. I was supposed to respond to that in the group. But they understand that mathematics.
You only want certain.
No, not just that alone. Understand this. You remember there was a time when the line was in the mall.
Yeah.
And all the people used to go in the mall.
Yeah.
I worked in City Mall. I laugh and I go around there. Sometimes weekend gone, I go around there. I want to tell you all around there is nothing for Father's Day, right?
Yeah.
And I watching the outside, the one that just sell. And I say, imagine me and my cousin used to come here. When it was only this little piece.
Yeah.
And we spent hours inside of it. Right? Even when I used to work in there, this is what from 2010 to 2015.
Yeah.
It was just the back part.
Yeah, just
that time, but this time was an extended, but that time, Christmas, Easter, August, it's ram.
Yeah.
But you know what we don't know? No, when last you buy shoes or something there, you need to say, I'll get in more when last you do that. When last you do that.
I'm not doing
Right? Right. Why? Because we pay your rent, everything one time, every sale.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's why I say today, I was one of the comments I
That was it. So now we or there was some alignment because we realized we reach rent already, you know, we lend them line here. We might they might say at a certain age you want to win more than 10 a week we win. Miguel will say well he will everything. Like 10 people have to pay 11 people have to pay entrance fee to come in more late.
Correct.
You understand?
Or how I pay to come in the mall and then I pay to buy things your man out.
You remember
from here.
we were having a conversation
Yeah.
and I was telling you I can't understand people paying to go into somewhere to buy things.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, I just can't understand that. I had to pay you to get in there to buy things from you.
Yeah.
What sense that make? You understand?
I want to read this comment from Mendoza here. He said, being 52 and still looking young makes me want to hold on to this look for now, right? I trying to see how far I could go to looking so good. I'm telling you, boy, me and Karen is always talking right here. We age group and the age some of the people a little older than we like. You looking amazing, yo. When you watch some of the people like I watch somebody around school and think I'll call one person Nikki. He was
still in school,
40 something.
Yeah.
Vampire
with big tread, Judy. You understand? Bambi looking the same. Bambi just looking somebody just stick one on your face.
Yeah. This girl with the nice eyes, boy. What's she name?
Sophia.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
I
boy.
see Sophia.
She look like if she's still a child. Seriously. I saw she had like look at the exact same way, boy. They're like, boy. Yeah, boy.
My thing is that happening with we. I personally can't give you a reason why.
Yeah.
But I want it to be something that we can pass on to the next generation.
Yeah.
I have a question to ask, as I say that. I have a question to ask. Now, it could be just me, but I realize now children are not allowed to be children anymore.
No, of course, you're correct. That is no. Me or not, that is the truth.
I realize that, but because no, that things my children is right. No, I was still run down my children in a while play and thing they go in the yard, they go run behind and all that.
Yeah.
Right? And they go video with the neighbors and things, but they have some children when we shoot. And when I say children, these children is 10, 12 years old, if so, they're in primary school.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm talking about just chores. Them youth and them have to be them like them as their own father and mother, right?
Yeah.
Serious thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand. I talking to one the other day, and he telling me he's 9 or something, he is 9. And he telling me he going on the road 6:30 in the morning in school. I said, where you going so early by yourself? You know, this harass them like I wiping on the car. I said, where you going? I'm going to the shop. I said, where you shop? I said, no shop open, they don't want them shop open, you gotta walk all the way up on the next street. You see, he had to make breakfast for your brother and sister. I said, you want to make breakfast for your little brother and your little sister.
And he little.
Yeah. I said, he said he gonna dress them and make them and think, I said, small one. So, I said, small one. I said, here boy. I said, where what for them? He said, he going to buy bread and everything. I didn't buy like 2 loaves before. So I just gave him a loaf of bread and I said, that good enough? He said, yeah. I said, go ahead. You go ahead. Don't stop me that. Just go ahead.
Nah, that's
you know, but hey, I like, why this little boy had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
No. The mother and the father. What is it? It's the sons.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they see them trips up the road.
The whole company.
Yeah. Right? And that is not a maybe to you, that is almost everything. No, me know if it's whatever hustle they making, whatever they do it.
The problem is
But
the children are
them
not
is
like that.
children,
If
them
you fall
children
victim to
will,
them thing, yeah.
you know?
And then parents don't see nothing wrong with that boy.
Nah.
Where you can talk to I'll tell you, I tell you plain, there certain places me go and talk to nobody. Simple. Very, very simple. I'm not going and talk because that level of ignorance, I can't do that.
Yeah, but you still have to try.
Right? Because first thing I tell you with me, how you talk to me is right? And me ain't trying to tell you nothing to disrespect you or nothing. No. I see a child, I think the thing you might think of that thing who going and suffer.
Yeah.
The child is who going and suffer because you still going and drink your and you whatever you're doing now.
Yeah.
And this is where the breakdown of the community come because it will have a time when a big woman in the community, your wife, was going there.
Yeah, she was getting rough up.
What going on here? I don't want to see that child. And then you guarantee for a few weeks.
Yeah. Everything should.
Yeah. That's what we adults in the community are for.
Yeah.
Now people afraid to talk.
Yeah.
If I tell you something about your child, I see a child, so.
Yeah.
It's you like boy.
But I tell you, I finished school, big man married.
Yeah.
Married and get rough up from anywhere. And you say, James,
you know you finished school.
I finished, but you see, success uniform used to look black and white. It used to look so the grey pants.
It's grey pants.
Right. So I have on my black pants, white shirt, dress shoes, and I line it on the railing in front of my proper girls opposite Smokey and Bunty on Friday evening. Mr. Oaks, all the best, brother. Mr. Oaks, pull up.
Yeah.
Mom and grandson, what are you doing here? Come in, Ivan. I said, Mr. Oaks, but I'm not living in Belmont, you know. I'm with my wife. Come in, Ivan. You might want to hear me. Boy, take all the young people from St. James to Bella Road. All the young people, this and that, and all their thing, and all their respect. Where grandmother would have think? My grandmother didn't know how much years. You understand? But okay, I think something. When I reach out there, my grandfather told him, boy, you know, if you want to rent in a place in St. James, the man say, you shouldn't be out there like me anyhow. Go on. You tell me,
that generation.
Right.
Them don't know how to say that was wrong.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to say
sorry. Yeah. They say sorry, it's a comedy.
You know what really hot now for all that, but I walk back home. Yeah, I don't walk back home, man.
So they why I want to lead them with, right? That same thing we say there because we live in it, right? The child that do get feel warm to burn down the community to get that same warmth, right? Warmth of the village. And it's not a cliche thing when they say it takes a village to raise a child. It is not a cliche thing. The only people who do agree with that is people who forced to, for whatever reason, do it on their own.
Yeah.
Anytime you get the help of a village, and the village is not don't always have to be outside the village, could simply be your family.
Of course.
You could say, Mommy, I will go a little party Saturday, no longer and go things that I will bring to you or here, and Mommy say, yeah. Or Mommy calling you, hey, bring my grandchild for this weekend, come in here, right? And you have things you could do one thing.
Yeah.
Village. Village is also accountability. Because at that time when you're here, your parents get both, but you know whoever they get both from is somebody big like them too. And somebody they respect, right? Them things had to come back. I had to be able to say, hey, I see a son down the road, they fell in a big stone behind a man, boy, find out ways that and they know what they're doing. And you in digging a horrors off and that or nothing. Or when I see him pay the big stone around him and tell him what you're doing. And he come and tell you, Mr. Orisha, thing and just grab me and you didn't ask him what, you just come around my meter. Right? If we give back some semblance of that, spend on top of it.
But I just see that all the time. I mean, I talk to my neighbors and I see the children walking coming around there. But the boy in front and the two girls coming around the corner. So I come down, I bend the street.
Yeah.
I slow down and I went down the glass. I say, why you quiet here and them quiet here?
Yeah. And you older than them.
Yeah, but you're great though. I want to use the toilet and I'm walking real slow. I said, brother, that means your little sisters, them can't be walking behind you. I said, because
pull them and pull them up.
if anybody take them round that corner and you stand up there waiting for them to come around the corner and you ain't see them, what you gonna tell them, mother?
Yeah, what?
Right? And then I using the example of small man graduation again. When we go on for lunch, after the grad done and everything, you know, everywhere, I come with a chit and thing. So he in front of me, he get the woman, the chit, he said, who with you? So he turned around and he point. So she said, who, these two people there? So I said, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, you're what? You bring the whole nation? I said, well, this is what the village is supposed to look like.
Yeah, right,
You understand me? Yeah. Because all of we come to see the youth man graduate. He two grandmother. He mother, he father. He sister. You understand? Everybody there. Aunt.
They on a custom.
Correct. This is a custom. You understand? The great aunt, everybody was there.
That is too, boy. That is. You remember them thing, you know?
Of course.
I remember Grandpa coming success for my graduation, the
valediction.
But anytime we talk about them thing, I just vex them.
You understand? But I remember that.
Yeah.
Right? Twice Grandpa come in school. When we was in school, when success they turned 10, which was 93. He had to do something, and he helped me do up something, and it ended up in the whole line. And one of my proudest moments in success. I remember tripping off on myself, because I had no way to tell your father, but he never come to see it. And he tell me he was coming, I was looking forward to it. Because I mean, something I do, hang up in the hall, right? My grandfather come, so that's the first time he come in school. I was in Form 2 and in Form 3. And then for grad, he come in school again, right? But you just remember them things. So all of that is part of the community too.
Of course.
And I want to tie back in one thing too. This thing what we see now where schools valedictory function no longer being held.
All these schools.
All like part of the community.
Of course.
Right? Because you imagine you live, what were you telling them? Were you telling them children them about it, so the school not good enough for that?
Exactly.
No, well, all them things we just want to take from America. I tell them, I say, I can tie in these things all over. All them things we just want to take from America. That's something America do. America is that the children decorate up and things, right?
Of course.
And they had to raise funds and things for it. Yes. You had to put back everything into the school.
Come on!
Of course.
Or somebody eating our food. When you have to go and rent this place and that place.
And even if they're renting stuff from the outside, that doesn't be on the outside. Everything will still be in
coming
the
back
school.
in
PA system, everything coming in the school.
Right.
Come back into the school.
This is what I experienced last week, right? Somebody I know had a graduation to attend with their family. And $600 was for the package. For the
person?
For a child.
Yeah.
A primary school.
Yeah.
Primary school, is it?
Yes.
That's craziness.
Yes. That's the cause, bro. That's the cause.
So going forward, right? No school shouldn't be built without a proper auditorium that taking into account
graduation.
Brett, I was so glad to walk up on that stage because what we used to do on the stage is play and thing, and then at times they can't go on the stage. I was glad to actually be able to walk up on that stage.
Correct.
You understand? And that my thing on the final thing on that schools which is a part of the community. All schools are to be prestige. All schools are to be prestige. So that when you're doing something, we need to start to ask where your grad is. Because when we look at the American school system, right, the valedictory function, what we just call the valedictory function, is in the school.
But the ball in the school
and
too.
The ball is in the school. You understand what I'm saying there?
They drop a child and they go on.
You understand what I'm saying there? That real pride king.
Nobody's supposed to be fearing to come success, boy. Like madness.
And I ain't gonna lie, some of them students and them Israel put their best foot forward and they
come on now, man!
But when they give them the opportunity, you have to give them the opportunity. You see, we're not giving the children the opportunity either. You understand?
You know who men with a hard place real quick? see Williams and Pena.
Come on now, man.
So them is the bosses.
Them men that make it look like a movie. Boy.
But they realize, look, I mean, we can do this community go on now. The community, the extended community, right? They call Williams and Pena Williams especially.
Yeah,
Mr. Williams, what's his first name?
I don't know.
Mr. David Williams.
I said peace.
Yeah, right?
Oh, he passed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
All of them.
Right?
Pena passed too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Williams had a whole set of, he was like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
He just had to blow art.
Yeah.
Once in a train, imagine that army he had behind him there. He said,
What
"Oh,
was like that too?
Huh?
Mr. What was like that too?
yeah, sure, they like the one.
Yeah, Mr. What was like that too?
You
That
imagine
was naturally a nice person. But
Yeah.
Nice.
that he called them and children and them. Whereas we leave school today, when we go back tomorrow, we believe in success.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, come on, we still have them things.
Yeah.
It's still have them things.
I see that man sit down at the, just sit down with a piece of cloth and some of the same watercolors that we used to use.
Yeah.
Every little thing. Man, you would never believe that is just a piece of rum cotton that you got.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Nah,
it looked like tapestry that you go find in one of them chapel and them somewhere. And he just go back and put in the class, okay, so this is serious though. That is it though. I like you're going on a partner.
No. He was one of them. You say who know Hubert passed away, right?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, Hubert.
Yeah.
I want to say it.
That's he was that?
Amazing.
Yeah, Hubert is there.
Oh, I thought men just used to tell him nothing.
I lined with Mr. Hubert my last day in a success uniform. Success or mover.
Yeah.
I bounced him up on the promenade. Me, he and two fellas from over with the real close up at that night, that evening. I don't want all know so I know we know. But I wasn't worried or nothing simply because I know the reality sinking in now. My mother and them who can afford the years. This
is where it's at, yeah.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
I sit on that promenade and I tell
Full
her that
stop.
I walk from by the circle to go for Sawaka.
Yeah.
That walk was one heavy walk.
Yeah, boy.
I lined my uniform, me, Jama, Salvery, we in my uniform till Minister 8 in the night. Right? And we line with Mr. Hubert, sit down, we talk to we like thing. Line with Mr. Hubert, my last day in our school uniform.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of them teachers. He used to come to the village too.
Right.
So I guarantee to see him.
Yeah.
I would say a special shout out to Miss Daly.
Oh.
Because we
My
talk
darling.
in community, right?
Yeah.
And she was one of
Darling,
them
boy.
teachers. We didn't know it. As I always say this, we didn't know it at the time, but she didn't care about it.
Yep.
We
No, but-
didn't know it at the time.
No, but it had plenty teachers in success that didn't care about people.
I was saying we didn't know it at the time.
I didn't know it.
No.
Is that a couple of them?
Yeah.
Right? No, you remember today I have my grievances with the institution itself.
Right.
Right? But the people within the institution were some of the most brilliant, honest, nicest, kindest people I ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Serious thing.
Miss Taylor, I always
Miss
remember she.
Miss Wilkinson.
Miss Wilkinson was
If Miss Wilkinson walk in here now
Yeah.
and rain fall and I will sit down on the ground for she to walk on me. Just for she to come together. I'm telling you.
No. She was, I'm telling you. We called she name today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But
She's right.
Miss Wilkinson is right. She's with my mama, brethren, grandmother was Margie. Serious. And if you can't see past the seriousness, you will realize it's love.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And straightforward.
Yep.
Real straightforward.
You're not a guess.
Nah.
You're not a guess. That is why I remember the bacchanal with the school, she was the principal up in Arima. I know that the teachers was against she because she was coming, she was cleaning up.
She was cleaning.
I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bacchanal big news and things, teachers don't want to do that. Because you know, just how she did on them words.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Straightforward because she understood. She was one of the people who never move out she community.
Nah.
Never
Pre-hostel
watched
later. Watch
Yeah.
it tonight if you want.
Yeah.
Safe place.
Right?
Which is it? So I don't know. I didn't know her from school.
Right as you're been up
First and last.
Oh, okay.
right?
Mm.
There must people that we didn't know. One of my lasting memory of Miss Wilkinson and we Bridget who passed Christopher Kiwi. That class was so ruckus. They put them over the principal office to keep them in order.
Quite.
Right? This is form 5.
Yeah,
Form 4, yeah, because they moved them from there.
Yeah.
Alright, so Miss coming class making her noise anything and she sing out Kiwi now. We saw that laughing and all that other thing. So Kiwi tell me a joke, Miss tell me a joke. And Kiwi tell she a still joke. Miss she give Kiwi 100 lines, so I must not tell still joke. That's what I'm saying, yeah? She gave boy. This next one too fast, Mr. Lester Bautista.
Yeah,
boy.
I just remember because once she was good in maths, he encouraged you to do at maths one time.
One time, yeah.
That man give me some lines.
10 lines?
10 lines. Give me there, like, it's lunchtime now. 10 lines. I go and look up that I'm going my lunchtime
Some
mission.
paragraph or.
But the man give me a Bible verse to write on and take it up there. They have page king.
Yeah.
King I write it and I'm mad. And you know this man was intelligent as always get a story. Eh? You know the little block over the class, the little square block?
Yeah.
We saw the class. On the inside we mark up with name who is cocky, Dr. Dre, coming on see this, that. At the in class when he go Roger, why you marking this? So he go, Conan, why you marking him? Conan says, sir, my name is Joel, I don't know who is that. My name is Cole, I don't know who is that.
Yeah.
Right? Alright, the very next day. You was there, mommy, remember? You was there, because all of we was in the same class. He come to class late on purpose. Yeah, intelligence, say all it. Knowing that once he see 2-3 minutes after the bell and we see the teacher, we get already one.
Yeah, talking.
Yeah.
Noise.
So somebody always be looking out and say he coming, so you come in class. But he take a little longer. When he walk in the class, he ball cocky. And who answer?
Yeah.
As he answer, you don't really get
Reflex.
People cocky. Yeah. You don't know. You know what we have to do? Paint over the class. Paint over the class. We turn it into a line, but we have to paint over the class.
Yeah.
And again, these is the people that did understood their role in the community.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now your teachers talking about them going to school, and they're afraid they're just going to school teaching, trying not to step on no toes, no thing. And
I shepherdess.
I don't know nothing about that with teachers, you know.
I shepherdess.
Well, first of all my primary school teachers was bad.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah.
All.
They are different.
Yeah, man.
All.
You know who was real dread too? Norman.
Yeah. He didn't come in with me. He come in last. He come in and set the tone. He was bad.
Still
Real bad. Huh?
He still wearing that plaid shirt, but
Yeah.
Like man style.
Somebody posted
You don't pass me nowhere now.
No. The other day, he came in UE to do something, and I was in the room after lecturing, watching anything. Come on, say that.
He was only form teacher at that time, 28 or 34.
Yeah. I see man there.
Boy, look him there, look him. Boy, you can see him there, plaid shirt.
Yeah, but watch right now, we didn't know that.
Yeah. Say, watch me, I come on, say that, watch it. I say, here what to do. I tell him go leave the thing. I say, when you go in there, I say, I'll be listening. If you make any mistakes, I'll go help you. The man start to laugh, man. He said, all right.
He never teach me, but we interact in school and then outside of school. I say he never teach me, but he never forget me.
Yeah, you
He
go
go past me. The man come in the village more than once.
You don't know
man, come and thing and that is what I'm saying. Your school is part of the community. How you taking things that's supposed to make people look forward to things in school out of the school?
Yeah.
You taking all aspects of graduating from the institution out of the school. What are you training them when I'm in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years later, 30 years later, now we're looking to do things for the school. People have no connection to it. You understand?
Yeah.
So again, there was things that we have to write to the ministry about looking at breads as a school. When you say we have in our grad and we were 6 police officers.
Yeah.
We were a car park up outside the lights blinking for the whole night.
I don't see nothing hard in that just because of the community.
Come on.
I don't see nothing hard in that. Because right across the road, there's police there.
All
In
the
a car, sleeping.
Yeah. Under
All
the
the time.
apple tree.
Under the orange. Right?
On the bus street.
Yeah. Right across the road.
There's what I'm saying now that thing about community, you can't tell me you didn't understand. Of course they understand. But something you say at the very beginning. It's a system.
Yeah,
Of course. Plenty of we do like to hear that word. It's a system.
Yeah.
And the system wasn't designed to work for the three of you. I feel so sad that there are people my age and a little older, or my age, who we the information age, that believe in the system and feel we exaggerating when we say this system don't work for you. I feel sad. Very sad.
I will use another word they don't like is programming.
Yeah,
They
what?
don't like that word.
Yeah.
They seriously programmed to think that the situation that they're in is one of...
They're choosing without outside influence.
I don't want to say that. They have chose this, and that is what they're doing. They don't realize that they
It was lined up like that. That is the 20th they get sent through.
Yeah.
That is the 20th they get sent through. Yeah.
Boy. And when me and you talking about the business, something I'm doing, I cannot. The reason why I didn't start or go through it fully, or you hear what happened to me this week.
Yeah.
So now with me being able to do this, I can't rely on that to do that at this point in time.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct.
So if I choose to stop what I do now and focus on this, I know that that aspect of it
Suffering.
will suffer bad.
Yeah.
And I can't do that to them.
Yeah.
I can't do that to them right now.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it will have a point in time when I will say, Frivo, I doing what I want to do. Right? But at this point in time, they are still my responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I made that promise to do that, so I'm living up to that. Right? And I always hear old people say, if it is a castic there, it make no sense. It makes sense talking to you.
Correct.
Right?
It would is bond.
Yeah.
So, community audio, we can't talk nothing about nation.
Until we deal with the community. Come on.
And remember, as Miguel says, people in the comment say, community starts in the house.
House, yeah,
That's right.
in the home.
Right? So, we make sure that is part of our daily. All of them train on them, let them know the love.
Yeah.
Let them know the love.
I ain't gonna lie.
Because they're coming outside into a real dread kind of hug them up.
Yeah.
Hug them up, let them know the love.
Yeah.
The love that they gave them, I posted that recently, the love that they gave him, we had to take it and talk to myself too.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh, he doesn't tell me about me.
Yeah.
What, boy?
Yeah.
I'm going in the next room, Daddy, we're going. We're not living in a mansion, child. We're not living in a mansion. I have no way in this house that I could go. And you can't hear me or see me.
Right now, yeah.
You understand?
Now come out somewhere.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying there? But on the flip side, I understand, and it's probably to teach me as well. So let me make sure that they know the love. Let me make sure that they know that they feel that warmth. So that when they go out there and they ain't get it out there, they ain't doing something ridiculous for attention.
Yeah. All love.
All love. It starts in the community of the house.
Yeah.
My son watching me and my wife the other day. So my daughter now come, so I'm hugging up my wife. I'm doing she wickedness now, just playing food.
Yeah.
Kissing she up thing, and my son saying no right, and he just watching me to me, and going back playing game. So my little daughter now come and say, well, thing, a little fed up. I say, this is what your husband is supposed to do.
That's right.
I see my son watch me, going back playing game. I say, all I want you to do is see me. I want you to see me.
That's all you have to do.
I just make it a point to harass my wife in front of. I just say harass, but you know what I mean, right? I just make it a point to do that in front of them, right? I know that some people don't like that PDA thing, right? But you have to, especially if it is your girls, right? As a man, you have to show these young ladies what they should expect from a man, firstly, right? What they need to see in a man, what a man is. Not this bullshit where they see on the internet. Right? You feel that's crying because Starbucks ain't have no frappuccino or some shit. I smile. Yeah, I just want to know, I just really, no, I was saying that for you.
Please do.
So that go back to last week, like, that's some of the reason we call all them men, or man or woman, or parents, because nature ain't strike all the out and say, well, now, you going to be a good parent. Like, you're choosing someone, they call that, you know. And because we just, a man is a broad thing, as in, when you cross a certain age, like, you're choosing someone that mean call man. Because if you go in a place that's selling coffee, and crying because they not
frappuccino.
Right? How is a man in this world?
But that's one of the things we have to do as a community, and we go live with this, because for me, I see it, right? With the men boy, we not holding one another accountable. We not holding one another accountable, and I'm telling you, like, you see the video, a man make a whole video admitting that he killed a girl. Oh, it's all day.
That was last week or something.
Last weekend, right? Because you wanted your girl, she tell she friend you wanted she, and you kill she because she mash up your relationship. Make a video about it. Your brother help you. What?
He killed himself?
No, the police hold him. Why hold him?
Why you police hold him?
Well, they mean, I don't know what they hold him for, but they hold him because he killed the girl.
It has some people that just don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, you give up your right one time.
No, for me personally, I told you, you sexually interfere with children, you rape women, you kill children, and you kill women. Before you're there, I want you to get away to suffer. Right? I hear what I torture years ago, and I always remember it, boy. Take a blowtorch and burn off your toenails, and then soak your foot in salt water.
Ooh! Yes, sir.
Then the cut open here and do the same thing for salt on it.
I take it that.
I'm saying to you, it had to have some kind of deterrent. Oh, we are a civilized society. I say, we are a civilized society.
No.
We are a civilized society.
We don't longer civilized.
A man comfortable to do them kind of thing, and we are a civilized society.
Yeah, we don't.
And we say earlier,
violence begets violence.
Violence just get results.
Violence get results, bro. Right? So all your long life and good health.
All the time.
Right? Make sure all you, we have to remember that love is an action word, support is an action word. If the children don't feel love, they go burn and warm, they go burn down the community to feel it. Right? And they don't necessarily, you know, some of these take some of these things literally, they don't necessarily have to be fired. You understand? To build a better nation starts in a community, and a community starts in a house.
Black to
if we vibes in.
Yes,
if
sir.
We, you know?
Yes, sir.
So, all I think that we go meet again. The roads wet plenty these days, so they go don't let me see these accidents and you know, let me take the time. Now we know that it's 2025, we've seen all these accidents from all over the years. Oh God, let me just take the time on the road. Yeah, so I know this is a long time, we can't be late twice.
But only be late once.
Right, so be safe. And we go link again, brothers. Goodness, right?
Yeah, man.
Black to Black with Kieron and Orisha Lachey.